Beyond puberty, hormones don't make you grow, and the fear of facing the world short leads some people to some pretty extreme measures.
I was in my bedroom getting ready for bed, just after a long day at school, and I was in a very happy-go-lucky mood, like I always was, and my parents came in and they said, "Listen, son, we need to talk."
He did not expect that there will be such bad news. We just sat there quietly, and then Meena started sobbing, and she says, "How are we going to tell this to Akash?"
My dad said, "Akash, we heard back from Dr. Overfield, and apparently you have reached your final height." And I kind of did a double take. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Akash was a beautiful child. We loved every moment of it as he was growing up. And then when this happened, we were really taken aback and said, oh my God, he's not going to be tall.
I couldn't believe what they were telling me. I said, Mom, this can't be my final height. I can't end up being 4'11 and a half. This can't be. I'm like, Dad, do something. Because in my life, anytime I've faced a very difficult hurdle, my dad has always helped me. And when I looked in his eyes, and I knew that there was nothing Mom or Dad could do. And then we just stood there and cried for, God, like an hour.
Akash was a happy person. He always smiling and singing, always told jokes. And then last 4 years in high school, he was withdrawn. This height thing was bothering him so much. You suddenly feel that as parents you are failing and you are not able to give him what he so dearly wants. You know, if you have a software that only runs on Mac, and if you want to run it on PC, somewhere in the world there is somebody who has figured out how to do it. I kept searching. We finally find a doctor in Baltimore, this world-renowned Dr. Paley.
To make someone taller in this day and age is doable, but it's lengthy, it's painful, it draws on your financial, emotional, and physical resources.
He describes the surgery, and we had seen all of that on internet, and it was really, our jaws will drop when we hear about how they do it. They put the rod in, then they break the bone with a chisel.
If you break a bone, and by some device attached to the bone, pull the bone apart through the break at a very slow rate, 1 millimeter a day, you can grow that limb in length. Until we stop pulling the bone apart, the bone actually can't join, and it keeps making bone to fill the space. So after 100 days, it's 10 centimeters long. It's an awful lot to go through. We're only willing to do it under very controlled circumstances in a patient who's undergone psychologic evaluation, who has a constitution that can handle some of the pain and some of the problems and the stress brought on by this high-magnitude procedure.
Akash asked me in the beginning, he said, "Is it going to be painful, Dad?" And I said, "More pain than you can ever imagine." But I said, the pain will go away and the increase in height will stay with you.
My father and I are very close. I can tell him anything I want. He's like my best friend, other than being my father. And I said, Dad, I know this is going to be a tough surgery. I know this is going to be the toughest several months of my life, but we are a strong family, and I think together we can get through anything. I think that is when we knew that this surgery was going to go from being a possibility to a reality. The morning of the surgery, we got up at 5:30. We had a little face-to-face with God, had a little chat saying, please, God, protect me.
One of our very good friends, they have 3 beautiful daughters, and when they heard about Akash going through this surgery, they said, why is Akash doing that? And their dad asked them, says, would you date a man as short as Akash? They all said no. He says, yeah, that's your answer.
What time is it? No, tell them what time it is. It's bone cutting time.
I can't move my legs at all. I really want to see if I can bring something. This surgery, I wouldn't give it to someone who didn't have the mental resolve to go through unimaginable pain.
What the hell have we done here? This person went walking to the hospital, comes back, and he looks like... As one person is pulling the wheelchair, I was holding his feet up. He was singing songs during that time. And he said, I'm so happy that I did not chicken out. Akash's bed was here. It was a hospital-like bed. He was so much in pain. We could not leave him here and sleep upstairs. So Meena and I put our bed here. And so for next 3 months, we have 7 bedrooms in this house, and the whole family lived in this room. There was a time during surgery where he started throwing up, and it lasted for 20 days, during which he lost 15 pounds. So we needed to know exactly at what time did he have a bagel, what time did he eat banana. This whole room was like a hospital.
This is the actual external fixator that had become a part of my anatomy for those 3.5 months. By adjusting this little knob on all 6 struts would make me 1 millimeter taller each day.
One of the most painful part of the surgery is all the pins. I say pins, they're screws and nuts and bolts that are sticking out of your body.
Every day, my mom would clean around the area of the pins to prevent infection. It just burned, it just burned. Your ankle and your knee tend to get very, very stiff if you don't exercise them vigorously. Okay, this part's over, it's done with. The pain can't even be described.
We get 10 inquiries a week regarding stature lengthening. I discourage every single patient that comes through the door. Breaking someone's bones, stretching and tightening all their muscles, stretching their nerves, just so they can be taller. You really have to think twice about that when the risks and the magnitude of the procedure are far larger.
He's going through pain either way. If you don't do the surgery, he has different kind of pain rest of his life. If you go ahead with this surgery, there is much more severe pain, but only for 6 months.
Sit down. Okay, sit down. I got it.
You are a strong person.
I remember the moment very well. My dad turned to one of the physical therapists and he said, you know, I run a manufacturing company in Piscataway, and I used to tell Akash that he would not be able to handle a company like that. But after having seen him go through this with so much maturity and so much resolve, I think I was wrong. I know I only gained 2 inches, but I feel about a foot taller inside. I mean, it just has changed my perspective about everything. Now I'm 2 inches taller than I was, 2.5 inches taller than I was 2 years ago. The pain that I went through is nothing in comparison to that gain.